everyone. Thank you for joining us in our Innerfit conversations. Today we have Chris Attoe with us, who is our expert in mental health and an occupational health psychologist. Hi, Chris.
Hi guys, my name is Chris Attoe. I am an occupational health psychologist and also head of research and development in an organisation called Maudsley Learning. So my background is in mental health services, mental health research, and in the delivery of mental health training to try and support workforces. So really great to catch up with you guys today.
Thank you. So I wanted to speak today about some of the key factors in workplace well-being. Can you talk to us a little bit about these? And maybe more specifically also about line managers.
Absolutely. So I think when we think about workplace well-being, it's really important for us to acknowledge the context from the very start. So I think we all have an experience of health, whether that's physical health, mental health and well-being. And that is normally understood in terms of our personal experience in life and the things we can do. When we think about the workplace, that gives us a very specific context. And there's actually a huge amount of research and evidence, as well as personal experience, about what some of those key factors are. So as Marina mentioned, relationships, and particularly your relationship with your line manager, is one of the biggest factors that influences health in the workplace and well-being. So that's something that we really know we can try and work with and improve to improve people's working lives. We also know that people's actual job role is a big factor, and that's their clarity and autonomy in that role, and how much they feel in control of their day-to-day work and how much they feel bought into what they're doing. We know other factors such as development, so being able to develop your career as well as developing your skills and your kind of self-efficacy and confidence around the work you do is really important. And we also know that work-life balance is a factor that, particularly at a time like this, is really, really relevant and important, alongside the overall organizational context of how an organization is doing, what the processes and environment and kind of context in which that specific organization is focusing, that the team and individuals are working within, and also the nature of the work that people take on. And by that we mean work design, how the work is organized, your timelines, your deadlines, your pressure, how things are delegated. And so to take one example, for example, relationship with line managers, we know that having an open, supportive relationship where you're able to share worries, and not just share worries, but also feel like those are listened to, is really important in someone being valued and having positive health and well-being in the workplace.
Thank you, Chris. That was very insightful. Everyone is talking about the new normal. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And what do you think about the transition? How is that going to go?
Absolutely, great question. So I guess in thinking about what this new normal is and what things are going to be like for people going forward around workplace well-being, there's some really useful ways for us to start thinking about that. And obviously what we can't do is know exactly what's going to happen. We have to manage it as we go and learn as we go. But what that means we can fall back on is, again, evidence and research and experience around things like managing uncertainty. So, there are very specific strategies and tips and practices that we can use to manage a situation and the emotional impact on us and thus our well-being when things are uncertain. So we know that's a big factor in what we can do. And we can also try and think about things in a very strategic way. A lot of what's happened over the last few months has been very responsive to how do we deal with an immediate change. Going forward, we have a little bit more scope to start being strategic in how we think about things. So not just thinking about an individual's needs, but also thinking about the context of their overall team, the context of the overall organization. And in that way, we can try and think about how do we address one factor, for example, relationships in the workplace for an individual with their line manager, within a whole team, and actually the relationship between that team and other teams in the organization. So in that way, we can start to be a little bit more strategic. And we also know that there are certain factors or issues that have come up in the last few months that we can spend more time really giving attention to going forward. So obviously remote working is an obvious one, and to pick one aspect of that, how that impacts our work-life balance and our ability to switch off is something that we know is going to have an impact on our well-being. So really something we can try and address. And similarly, an organization with a certain workforce may have very different experiences of COVID within all of the work that they've been doing. So that could include some people who unfortunately may have been made redundant, some who have been furloughed, some who have had a very drastic change to their workload where they've been a key worker and have been changed the nature of their work considerably. So thinking about how we can support things for each different group that we're working with is another thing that we can start trying to understand. So a big challenge, but lots we can do based on what we already know and previous evidence.
Thank you so much, Chris.